Hey everyone, happy Sunday. Hope you're doing great. We're getting ready for Thanksgiving this week, and I hope you're having a good Sunday today. And you don't? No, I don't need to wear this, do I? You're watching me from home, so yeah, we'll be safe. COVID's going crazy everywhere, but we're COVID free, and you're COVID free watching this video, I hope, but it won't give you COVID watching this video or talking to me on the video. But hey, here's what we're talking about. If you were with us last week, we started talking about the characters of Christmas, all kinds of people that are involved with the Christmas story. And we said about these people and about ourselves, God's people respond to him and his plans. So do you remember who we talked about last week? We said that I can respond to God with obedience. Do you remember who this lady was? Not Mother Teresa, no, it is Mary, the mother of Jesus. I bet you knew that. So we talked about Mary last week, the mother of Jesus, and how she responded to God with obedience when the angel came and talked with her. And today we're going to talk about this fine man, Jesus' earthly father, Joseph. And hopefully we're going to learn that I can respond to God with faithfulness today. Faithfulness. What about that word, faithful? What does the word faithful mean? Have you heard that word before? Have you ever talked about what that word might mean? Well, here's an example of faithfulness. This is called a geyser. This is at Yellowstone Park. It's a big spray of water that shoots up out of the ground, and it's called the Old Faithful Geyser. And it's called the Old Faithful Geyser because within about 10 minutes, as long back as anybody can remember, that every 65 to 90 minutes, the water shoots up out of the ground and then goes away for 65 to 90 minutes, and then again, shoots up out of the ground. It's pretty cool. I've gotten to see it. But that's faithful. It always happens. You can set your clock on it. And I don't know how they figure it out that it's this amount of time, but it's this amount of time. Always, 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 Old Faithful Geyser erupts. What about this? Here are the planets circling the sun in outer space. And for as long as anyone knows, the planets have been doing their thing. They've been staying in the same place. They've gone the right direction. Think about Earth, and our seasons come from going around the sun at a different angle. And have you ever had a time where you thought, what happened? Summer is gone. Summer never came. Or where did winter skipped over? We skipped over winter. Has that ever happened? No. The seasons always come. The sun always comes up in the morning. Even when it's cloudy, we still know the sun has come up. That's faithfulness. That's something that happens on a regular basis. And there's a lot more to it too. Here's some other words that can talk about faithfulness or help us to understand faithfulness more. Here's one. This is called dependable. Have you heard that word before? Dependable means you know it's going to happen. You know they're going to do what they say they're going to do. How about this one? Loyal. Do you know what it means to have someone who's loyal? Someone who's going to stick by you and not give up on you? How about someone who is true? You always know you're going to get what's true from them, not a lie. What about someone that is constant? People who don't fluctuate or get crazy and then get really low, but someone who just is steady and constant and there for you. What about devoted? Someone who is just so on your team and on your side, and they're not going to give up. They're always going to be there for you. Here's some words that talk about faithfulness. Here's some pictures of some things that we usually think of that are faithful. You know, your dog. If you have a dog that just loves your family and is always there and is just always excited to see you when you come home. Maybe you have friends that you know are faithful to you, that you can count on, that you can depend on. Sometimes when we talk about being faithful, we talk about a husband and a wife, and how when you make a vow, you make a promise to marry someone, you promise to be faithful to them, to only love them, and to be with them as long as you live. And then we're talking about Joseph and Mary, and we're talking about how Joseph was faithful to God and to Mary and to baby Jesus as well. So we're going to play a game here in the arena on Sunday that maybe talks about being dependable. You might have a game. I'm not sure if you can find a game in your house that helps you to talk about being dependable. Maybe you are constant. Maybe you play ping pong and you just have to hit the ball. How many times can you hit the ball the same way, or do something the same way? Maybe you could try to figure out a game like that in your house. We're going to play a game here in the arena, if you can join us. But we're going to do that, and then we're going to talk about faithfulness, and we're going to say this. We're going to say that faithfulness is staying true no matter what's happening. Staying true no matter what's happening. So, think about the Bible. Think about all the characters in the Bible, all the stories in the Bible, all the people in the Bible. Can you think of some people in the Bible who were faithful? Can you think of some? Shout them out. Talk to your family. Who are they? Name their names. We're going to look at 3 really quick just to get an idea. So there's this guy, David, fighting Goliath. And David was faithful because he trusted that God was going to do what God said he was going to do, and he kept moving on with that plan. He didn't wear armor. He had his little sling. He was small. Goliath was huge, but he remained faithful to God, knowing that God was going to be faithful to him, right? What about this one? Gideon and his 300 men. Do you know this story? God wanted Gideon to put an army together to help defeat Israel's enemy. And Gideon was kind of a scared guy, but God said, you can do this, and I want you to put an army together. Well, he thought of a big army, but no, God only wanted his army to have 300 men. And so not only did God want Gideon's army to only have 300 men, he did this kind of crazy plan where they all got a trumpet and they got a torch, and they put the torch in a pot, and they surrounded the enemy camp. And at the signal, they busted their pot, and they had this torch out, and they blew their horns, and they said, for a sword for Gideon and for the Lord. And they were faithful. Even with this plan that sounds crazy, with only 300 guys, Gideon stayed faithful to God. He did what he knew God was calling him to do, even when it was kind of crazy. What about this guy? Noah. No rain going on, no clouds in the sky that were going to make rain. But Noah spent 100 years building this gigantic boat, doing what God asked him to do. He was faithful. He was steady. He was constant. He was devoted to God. He did what was true. So there's just a few examples in the Bible. I bet you can think of a lot of others of people who were faithful in the Bible. And so now we're talking about Joseph and the birth of Jesus and how Joseph was faithful to God. Just like last week, we heard that when Mary was visited by an angel, today we're going to hear about Joseph being visited by an angel in a dream. And so you're going to watch a short video about that, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about what it looks like with Joseph being faithful, and what can it look like for us to be faithful. Here's the video.
Before their wedding, Joseph found out that Mary was pregnant.
Wait, what?
He thought she had done something wrong. But Joseph was a man of God and decided to break off the engagement quietly, so no one around town would think badly of Mary. While Joseph was thinking about all this, an angel appeared to him in a dream.
Oh. Hi?
The angel said, "Joseph, don't be afraid to take Mary as your wife."
Why?
The angel explained that Mary's baby was from God.
Wait, what?
The angel told Joseph that the baby's name would be Jesus, and he would save his people from their sins.
Oh, wow.
And when Joseph woke up, he did as the angel told him.
Hi.
You ready?
Really? Yeah!
And took Mary as his wife, while she was still pregnant with the Son of God. And so Joseph and Mary trusted in God, and the two followed the plan that God had given them to help bring the Savior into the world.
So, great story about Joseph showing us his faithfulness to God, his faithfulness to Mary, doing what was right, doing what was true, even when things were kind of uncertain and kind of crazy. Faithfulness is staying true no matter what's happening. So let's talk about us and our response to God, because we've been saying how God's people respond to him and his plans. Let's talk about that. How do we respond to God with faithfulness? What kind of situations might come up where we might have to say, wait a minute, I'm not going to give in to this situation that's hard or upsetting or difficult. I'm going to be faithful to God and trust him and keep pressing on and walking through the situation, the thing that God has for me to do and to learn. So here's one. We can respond to God with faithfulness when we are tempted. Have you ever been tempted to do something you knew you shouldn't do? Whether it's cheating on a test, being mean to a brother or sister, taking a cookie if somebody tells you, no, don't have a cookie, we're going to have dinner soon, or stealing something from someone. You can think of a lot of different ways you might be tempted, or we get tempted. But when we're tempted, God tells us in his word that he'll help us to get out of that. He'll provide a way for us to be out of that and to walk away from it. And that's being faithful to him. When we are tempted, we can stop and we can say, wait, I want to be faithful to God in this and not do the wrong thing. I want to be true and do the right thing. Here's another way we can respond to God with faithfulness: when we feel hurt or wrong. Have you ever had somebody do something that has hurt you, or that they have wronged you in some way? It really hurts. It really hurts when someone says something or does something mean to you, or lies to you about something. There's all kinds of situations that happen where we feel that somebody's hurt us, or somebody has wronged us, done something wrong to us. Now, being faithful doesn't mean that we just pretend that it's not a big deal, that we pretend it wasn't wrong. No, but we have to remember that when something happens like that, that person needs to be forgiven. God wants us to be faithful and to forgive and to ask him for help to get over our hurt. And you know what? If someone has wronged us or hurt us in some way, they might have some other things going on too that we can pray for, or we can ask them if we can help them. And so being faithful when we're hurt or when we're wronged can look like forgiving, can look like maybe reaching out and trying to help somebody who might be having a hard time with life, and that could be why they wronged us. What about this one? Kind of what Joseph was in when we face a difficult situation. Joseph had a difficult situation. Mary was not supposed to be pregnant with a baby until after they got married. And so, but Joseph was faithful to Mary. It said he didn't want anyone to think bad of her, even when he found this out. And then he had his dream, and the angel told him exactly what was going on and what to do. And when that happened, he said, okay, I'm going to be faithful. I'm going to do what God is asking me to do. And here's all these words again that help us to understand, to help us to remember, to think about what does it mean to be faithful. Someone who is faithful is someone who's dependable, someone who's loyal, someone who's true, someone who is constant, someone who is devoted. I wonder if you can think of somebody in your life who has been those things to you. Maybe a mom or a dad or a grandparent or a friend or a teacher. I hope you can. I hope you can think of someone in your life that has some of these qualities in them, that they've been there for you, they've loved you, they've encouraged you, they've been true to you. And we can learn from that. We can learn from Joseph's example. We can learn from the examples of David we looked at, and we looked at Noah, and we looked at Gideon, of what it means to be someone who is faithful, someone who stays true no matter what happens. And as we said last week, if you were with us last week, you'll remember we talked about obedience, that God gives us the strength to be obedient. That's where we get our strength from to be faithful as well. We can't really do it on ourselves. We can try hard, and that's okay. That's great trying. But we have to remember that God is the one to give us the strength to be faithful when things are difficult, when things hurt, when things are confusing and we don't understand. We have to come before God and say, God, I don't know what to do, or this really hurts me, or I really need your help. And we have to trust that God will help us to be faithful. We still have to get up after we pray and take steps and live life and be faithful to him. But we can trust that God is going to help us when we want to be faithful to him. So let's think about it. Here's our big question for the week. And here's the question I want you to think about. Who can I show faithfulness to this week? Maybe some of the things we've talked about, some of the situations we've talked about have made you think of someone who maybe needs your faithfulness. Maybe it's a friend who's having a rough time. Maybe it's a brother or a sister that maybe you've not been kind to, or maybe they're having a rough time, and you need to show your faithfulness to them. You need to show your loyalty, your dependability, your being true to them. Or maybe it's mom and dad. I don't know. But I hope that you will think about this question. I hope you'll think about someone in your life this week that you can show faithfulness to, that you can show them that you're dependable. You can show them that you're loyal to them, that you'll be true, that you will be constant for them, that you will be devoted to them. I hope you take some time, maybe talk about this in your family. Maybe everyone in your family might have someone that they can think of that here's somebody I need to try to show faithfulness to this week. And remember, pray. Ask God, God, help me in this situation with this person. Help me to show faithfulness like Joseph did in doing what was right, in taking Mary as his wife, and in obeying God and following God and doing what he knew God was asking him to do. I hope you have a great time thinking about that this week. I pray that God will give you an opportunity to show faithfulness to someone this week. I pray that you would realize how much you need to ask God for help and know that he's going to help you when you ask. So think of someone that you can show faithfulness to this week. Have a great week. Eat a lot of turkey. Do you like the pumpkin pie? I like pumpkin pie, cranberry sauce, stuffing, mashed potatoes. I love those little rolls and the green bean casserole. And I don't know, whatever kind of Thanksgiving you're having, because some people are not having a big Thanksgiving. Some people are having a smaller Thanksgiving. But whatever it is, I hope and pray that you will find things to be thankful for with your family, with the people that you get to be with. Have a great time for Thanksgiving. We will see you next week for a new FAC Kids Go Live, where we will talk about a new character of Christmas, and we'll learn something new about how we can respond to God. We'll see you next week, guys. Have a great week.